Astrology isn't just about signs and symbols. It's a tool for navigating real life. Hello, and welcome to Astrology with Elisa. I'm your host, Elisa Dixon, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. This is a year that is going to feel a little wild. Exciting at times, uncomfortable at times, but perfectly timed for where we are on our soul's path. This is the energy we are ready for. I've heard from some of you recently who feel uneasy about some of the astrology coming up. And I get it. I've been listening to year ahead forecasts from other astrologers myself. I've been having conversations with them behind the scenes, unpacking the themes. And across the board, I keep hearing the same thing. This is a year like no other. Change is coming fast. There are planetary alignments in 2026 that echo intense periods in history. One in particular hasn't happened in well over 1,000 years. And that one is coming up very soon. Saturn and Neptune are meeting at 0 degrees of Aries in February. Certain structures in our lives are going to fall apart. This is a year of big endings and new beginnings. You're likely to grow into a new version of yourself, so much so that you may not even recognize who you were before. These are the kinds of things all the astrologers are saying. So I want to pause right here and say this. You've got this. We've got this. We're all in this together. Because the only constant in life is change. And a few days ago, I was reminded of something one of my favorite bosses said years ago. I don't remember his exact words, but it went something like this. Change is hard in the beginning. It's messy in the middle, but it's beautiful at the end. And that quote landed differently for me this time. Because when I look at the astrology of 2026, that's exactly the story we're in. Without trying to sound dramatic, everything really is changing. And yes, that can feel scary. But honestly, it's also really exciting. This year is giving us permission to disrupt routines that no longer fit, to try new things, to take bold steps with courage, and to ask ourselves an honest question. Is the life I'm living aligned with my true purpose? And if the answer is no, this is a year that supports realignment because the energy itself is supporting change. This is actually really, really exciting. So here's why, right? The outer planets are shifting. All of them. They are moving from earth and water signs into fire and air signs. Pluto went first. He's now fully settled into Aquarius, an air sign. But the rest follow in 2026. Neptune into Aries. Saturn into Aries. Uranus into Gemini. Jupiter into Leo. That's fire, fire, air, fire. And the elements really matter. I'll tell you why in a minute. But when the outer planets move, we feel it collectively. These aren't day-to-day moods. These planets shape entire chapters of our lives. And the reason is simple. They move slowly. For context, the sun spends about a month in a sign. Jupiter spends a year. Saturn spends 2.5. Uranus spends 7. Neptune doubles that at 14. Pluto, on average, spends around 20 years in a sign. Every time one of these planets changes signs, a chapter closes and a new one begins. Now, imagine this. Instead of one chapter ending at a time, which can sometimes be hard but feels much more manageable, several chapters are ending at once. That's what makes this year different. 4 outer planets changing signs within about 6 months of each other. That's rare. And it explains why things feel like they're speeding up, why old structures feel unstable, why it can feel like everything is changing all at once. So add to that piece the elemental shift. We're moving from earth and water into fire and air. Earth and water energy is slower, receptive, internal, about processing and building. Fire and air energy is fast, forward-moving, about action and ideas. Things happen quickly, momentum builds, and resistance becomes harder to maintain. We're already feeling this. We're already in these energies. And Saturn and Neptune are the first wave. They're just weeks away from moving into Aries. Saturn builds structure and commitments. Neptune confuses and dissolves things. Together, they are showing us what is no longer sustainable, what has outlived its purpose, and what needs to fall away so something new can take shape. This is the beginning phase of change, going back to that saying from my old boss, the part where change feels hard. And I'll tell you a little story real quick about how this is showing up in my life, because this stuff isn't abstract, it's real. In my birth chart, this Saturn-Neptune alignment is pretty loud right now. I have my Sun, Venus, and Mars in Aries, and Aries rules my 4th house of home and family. I also have a Capricorn moon and rising in my 1st house of self. So as Saturn and Neptune move into Aries, joining my Aries planets in my 4th house, they also are squaring my moon and ascendant. So what does this look like in real life? Well, my family routines are shifting dramatically. The structure of my day-to-day life is changing. My son just turned 13, and his move from elementary school to junior high this year has changed our family rhythm entirely. Earlier mornings, different schedules, different needs. Over the holidays, we had a beautiful trip to Costa Rica, but I got very sick, and my son fell at the pool and broke 2 toes. So, side note, we got to experience urgent care in Costa Rica, a real, true, live 9th house immersion of new cultures. But anyway, we came home early, and the days that we thought were supposed to be fun turned into doctor visits, both for him and for me. And this pause forced me to see something. I have been running myself ragged for months, resisting some of those inevitable changes I needed to make, adjusting my schedule earlier and earlier, never slowing down. And being sick for 3 weeks ended a personal routine I never would have chosen to stop. And now I'm building new ones. More rest, different workout times later in the day, prioritizing quality time with my kids before they go to school. That's Saturn and Neptune, dissolving a structure that no longer supported my health and that no longer supported the changing needs of my family. Saturn and Neptune, dissolving structures to make room for something new. That's the hard part, where we become aware of what's changing in our lives. Ready or not, here it's coming. Then, fast forward a few months to April, when Uranus will enter the story. Uranus is the messy middle part of change, the lightning bolt, the disruptor. If we don't willingly change, Uranus will change things for us. When we allow change to happen, Uranus feels liberating. But when we resist it, it feels chaotic. This year is asking us to roll with the changes, to trust that what's falling away is making room, to understand that uncertainty doesn't mean failure. These planets aren't here to make our lives harder, I promise you. They're here to move us into the next chapter, into alignment, into lives that actually fit who we are becoming. So if things feel fast, if things feel unfamiliar, if parts of your life are clearly ending, trust it. And in the end, when we are on the other side of these changes, it's actually going to be really beautiful. So as we move through this together, keep the faith, stay intentional, and remember, here in this Astrology with Elisa community, we work with the energies, not against them. I'll be here with you week after week, watching the sky, and I will help you navigate the waves of energy as they show up here on Earth. That's the beautiful gift of astrology. We get a heads up so we can make better choices, more conscious choices, and direct the energy to its highest expression. So for right now, today, look at where Aries is in your chart. Whatever house it rules, whatever planets you have in Aries, these are going to give you the clues of what's coming. Trust the process. You're ready for what's coming. And if at any point this year you feel overwhelmed or unsure about how this is showing up personally for you, I'm always available for one-on-one readings. I'd love to help you work through your chart, your timing, and the bigger themes unfolding in your life. And now, more than ever, self-care is not optional. It's essential, which is why I come back again and again to your moon sign. Where the moon was in the zodiac when you were born shows you how you need to process your emotions and manage your stress, and what you need to feel safe and supported when life is feeling intense. And 2026 is a year where all of us will need more gentleness, more care, and more compassion for ourselves. So if you haven't already, make sure you visit my website and download my free moon sign guide to self-care. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. It's there to help you tend to yourself in a way that actually works for you. As always, I love and appreciate you all. Welcome to 2026. We've got this. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, and I'll see you next time.